Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brian, and we're doing a little bit of a different video today, so hopefully you enjoy it. But we're going to be working with a 3D printed part we got from one of our good buddies that's part of the Model Car Mafia group. His name is Steve Del Sesto. Comments a lot on our channel, and he's also on Facebook and everything too. But he's part of Colts 3D and gifted us this cute little guy here. This is this is the bad camera. But we'll do some close-ups here in a second. But we have a little 7-Up ice chest cooler. And we decided we're going to paint this up because we want to add this to the trailer of our midget race car. So I've had this in the stash for a little while. Steve gifted us to this quite a while ago, and I've decided, you know what, let's pull this down and get to work on it. So so far, all we've really done is sand a lot of the layer lines that you see on 3D printed parts. Sanded those down. If you can see, where's my lens at? There it is. There's a little handle here with a gap. Okay, so let's do this. There we go. There's a little bit of a gap there. And then you see there's two little bits that hang down from there. That's actually looks like the real thing. And we'll add a photo in here. So you see this is printed fairly accurately. I didn't cut those out. I was going to cut those out, and I thought, well, I should probably just go ahead and take a look and see how this is supposed to really look. Turns out this is printed accurately, so yay. There are a couple little oopsies in the print. There's like, let's see if we can get the light on here just right, but there's a little divot right there. That's cool. That's going to help this thing out because we want it to look a little aged and beat up and stuff. And the vintage of this particular cooler seems to match with the vintage of the race car and trailer. So that's going to be perfect. But so far, all we've done is sand it. And then we did a couple of light coats of Tamiya white primer. And then we used a couple of thin coats of Tamiya TS30 silver leaf. There we go. And just a couple of thin coats of that, because now we're going to go over and we're going to do some chipping fluid, and we'll show you how to do that. All right, so now we're with the good lens. And you can see the little oopsie right there like I was talking about a second ago. And on the other side, there's a couple of little other ones there also. No big deal. Again, we're going to actually accentuate all that. And yeah, my camera phone did an update the other day, and now it's changed all my settings on my viewer. So apologies. But we're going to show you how to do this chipping fluid on this. We're going to use this stuff here from Vallejo or Vallejo. It says chipping medium. This has a good viscosity to it. You can see the bubbles having a float in there. And if you're not familiar with this stuff, you can probably get this at most hobby shops, online on Amazon, and probably even over at maybe even Hobby Lobby, because I knew that they carry some Vallejo stuff, but I'm not sure if they actually have that there. But you see here where it says water-based, that's the key, because we're gonna actually brush this onto areas on the cooler that we want to have the metallic finish come through underneath our final coat. Okay, so we're going to do that right now, and have to thank our buddy Chris Rohde for supplying us with bottle caps. We have bottle caps galore. Every time I see Chris, he's got another baggie of bottle caps. So don't need much. It's very thick, just like that. We're going to get our handy dandy silicone tip brush, and then we're going to go down. So hopefully this stays in focus. So we're going to add a little spot to the divots there and there. And then I also feel like it's going to have a bit of a rough life, so we're going to have it kind of, this is going on there really thick right now, so we're going to just kind of go around the edges of everything. I want this to be a little more irregular here and there. Let's see if we can, maybe if we zoom in a little bit, it'll be happier. Steal some from there. Okay, cool. This is the part where I forget to actually put stuff on camera. Rotate, or as they say on Friends, pivot. Thank you, Ross. Get some more on the tip there. There we go. A little bit through here. A little bit more on the handle. Definitely where people would be grabbing the handle, like right in the center. There we go. Now this stuff does take a little bit of practice using, because when you're doing it over this bright surface like this, especially if you're doing this through the viewfinder of a camera, it can be a little hard to see where you're putting stuff because it is transparent. And I do know people that have used, and I have done this myself, used white glue for chipping fluid. But that actually has a lot of dimension to it. So you could actually end up with bits that have like flecks and nooks and crannies and all that kind of stuff. So there we go. Let's put some down, right down there. There we go. So because this has a high viscosity to it, it doesn't puddle up or migrate so easily. So that's good. It pretty much stays where you put it. The consistency of this, I would liken to, well, I don't want to be gross, but it's a good snot. So, there we go. So this is some chipping snot right in here. So put that in there. There we go. Hit that again just to make sure that I got that in there, because I don't remember. I'm not that age now. I had a little too much, I felt, on there, so ooh, that's a good scratch through there. That's good. All right, cool. So you can speed up the curing process with this with just a little hair dryer. No problem, as long as the missus doesn't mind you borrowing that. I pilfered my own off of Mrs. BG because it had hit the floor one time too many and parts of it were missing, so I went ahead and absconded that so she could go get herself a new one. She wasn't happy about that. It's still good. I'm like, okay, I'm a little worried about your hair getting caught into that since the screen on the back is gone. I could imagine that being a trip to the emergency room. I'm gonna take off a little bit here because I think I put that on a little too thick, but there we go. All right, so we're going to let this dry up real fast, and then we'll come back and show you how we're going to paint this. All right, so we're going to be using our, let's see here, XF2 flat white from Tamiya, and we use some of these unicorn tiers here, the Mr. Color Leveling Thinner 400. Ratios, I don't really mess with ratios. I just go for consistencies, okay? So this is the pipette we use to stir it all up, and you see that there's some splashes on the side of the jar here. We first put the Tamiya in here, right? Just use the pipette, squirted it in here. And then before we do any mixing, we hit the side of this to see how well it travels down the wall of the mixing cup. Judging by that, I can see how much I need to add. And now you can see it's running down there pretty good. So people always say, oh, the consistency of 2% milk or something like that. Well, this is probably a teensy bit thicker than that, maybe more like whole milk. But it's got the travel that I want, the speed that I want. So it's giving me an idea of how thin this is going to be. And for what we're working with, I do want this be a little bit on the thin side. So that's just a little note there about how we go about doing our Tamiya mixes for our airbrushing. All right, so we're all set up to spray. I don't have the booth on just yet. You will know when it's on because it's going to get probably pretty loud. So we're going to go ahead and just do our best job spraying with all the noise. I don't think we'll be able to actually say much while doing this and be heard, so we'll see how it goes. That's a little quieter than I thought it was going to be. All right. So there we go. Got some white going. Oops. Hey, that's perfect. There we go. And that's laying down nice. There we go. We're out. A little bit more. Oh, good job. I think that'll do. Yep, that's gonna do. So after cleaning up the airbrush and letting this dry, it looks like we are very, very close to being done. I want to go and do the red on the label bit. It looks like on the actual coolers that is actually a raised surface, so that's cool. Thankfully, we can actually do a little bit of a very thin red paint job on there. So, fingers crossed that goes well. I'm probably going to do that off camera because of how nerve-wracking it's going to be for me. So we're going to go ahead and tackle that, and then we'll come back and show you the revealing process for taking all of the paint off of the chipping fluid surfaces. All right, we did take a little break for lunch, so there we go. This is going to be nice and cured up now. So we do have a little bowl of water here and a toothbrush just in case, but maybe we can get lucky by just getting this wet here. And there we go, going after that with a little fingernail. Let's see if the toothbrush helps out at all. The toothbrush is going to help and give you an irregular pattern. There, do you see how it's starting to chip away? So we have a little bit of chipping right there, right? We can go farther with that, or we can keep it right there. It's artist's choice, I'm going to say. That looks good. That looks good. We got a little bit of chipping going along the side of the logo there, so that's kind of slick. Just do a little bit more down here. So you see how easy that's coming off, just like that with the fingernail. I'll dry off the toothbrush just a little bit. And then I'm going to try smacking it. Like a dentist that just had a client that was lying about flossing. There we go. See the chipping? That's great. So this stuff is really cool. If you're working on something small like this and you don't want to use that salt technique, that can get really messy. And this is so small that the salt technique could actually probably be a little too much for this little guy here. So let's get on to taking some off there. Ah, there's some good stuff coming off there. Good. There we go. Look at that. That's looking cool. Let's try down here in the lower corner. Oh, there we go. A little too much there. Back it up, BG. Just got to scrub that off there. There we go. Little bits coming off here and there around the logo. That's perfect. We do have a plan for fixing the I guess I don't want to call it the stuff that's spilled into the lettering, I guess is the best way to say that. So I remember we put some up here on the top. Hey, wasn't that a character in a James Bond movie on the top? There we go. And I've seen these with green lids and white lids. I like the all white. It's going to be simpler to paint, especially with the masking underneath the handle. If I remember correctly, we do have some on the handle. I should be more delicate with that because I don't want to snap that handle off there. That's for certain. There we go. There we go. Oh, yeah. That's looking really good. Take a close look at that. Zoom in just a teensy bit more. There we go. Yeah, man, that's looking great. That's looking great. It's so bad it's good, right? Take a look at the top. Oh, let's do some up here on this bit here. So let's see, just do a drag across there. Sorry, that's the beginning of round two. The water is a little glossy, so that's giving us a bit of a shine that we don't want for the effect. But there we go. Let's do a little bit more drawing. So the plan. The plan. So this is supposed to be a little bit on the aged side, and that metallic color in there is a bit shiny, very, very new looking. So my plan is to actually hit this with some dull coat, TS80 dull coat, and that will not only dull down the metal underneath there so that it looks a little more aged, but it will also seal this all so that the chipping process will stop now. Then after that dries, we'll come back in with some very super thin white paint, if all goes to plan, and then just flow that through the 7-Up logo. It shouldn't attack the red that's on there because that'll be sealed with the dull coat. So that's the plan on that. So we're going to go hit this with a hair dryer, get this dried off nice and good, and then we'll come back and hit this with the TS80. I'm going to do that outside because I can't do that in the hobby room. That is just too much to be spraying in here. Okay, dull coat applied. See how it's toned down that metal? It's not so glossy, not so shiny anymore. That's exactly what we want more of an aged metal look. Now we can go about this with a couple of washes if we wanted to dirty and gungy it up. I don't think I'm going to do that at this point. I think what we're just going to do now is let this cure up a little bit more and then attack that 7-Up logo and see if we can't bring out that a little bit better. All right, so we've gone and done the touch-ups on it, and this this side here turned out the best. The other side is a bit cursed, but for what it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to represent, I think this looks pretty good. This side here, I had some problems with, I guess I didn't get enough flat coat on there, and some of the white paint reactivated the red. So, whoops. So we've done our best to try and fix that up a little bit. But yeah, it happens. It happens. But basically, we wanted to show you that technique for using this guy here, the chipping medium. So there we go. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and you stuck along with us. I'm not quite sure how long this is going to turn out to be, so we kind of try to keep it as compressed as possible. But there we go. Anyway, y'all take it easy. Have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you a little bit later on because we're going to get ready to start recording a podcast here soon. So we'll talk to y'all a little bit later. Bye now.